429 final presentation. Introduction to soccer and the organization. The chosen organization is North Toronto Nitro Soccer Club. In our presentation, it will be called NTSC. It is a youth and high performance soccer club located in Toronto, Ontario. It was founded in 1980 as a youth soccer club. The semi-professional teams have been created and began in 2016. There are numerous house leagues for under 4 and 18. There are various leagues available at different levels. For example, there's a League One Ontario and Ontario Player Development League, which are more for high performance. And there are other Toronto Soccer Association leagues and house leagues. These are for the active for life stages that are not going for high performance. Discussing the hierarchical mode of Canadian soccer, there is a Canada Soccer at the top, governing the Ontario Soccer and other provincial soccer. Under the Ontario Soccer, it governs Toronto Soccer Association and other regional soccer associations such as North York or Scarborough, etc. Under the Toronto Soccer Association, there is our club, NTSC, that is being governed by both Ontario Soccer and Toronto Soccer. Discussing the system of governance, it is at the senior club level. Mostly the Ontario Soccer, in our case, the provincial level of governance, regulates rules and policies for healthier financial management of the clubs. Submission to an annual financial reports to Ontario Soccer is required. Discussing the sectors model, NTSC is a non-profit sector. Is a local sport organization, clubs, leagues, and team sector. It is as most of the local sport organization with non-profit sectors are. These are membership driven, and their purpose is not to generate money, but is to have as many people as possible to enjoy and develop soccer, and to also develop high performance athletes. So this is very individual based. Now we get started with our macroeconomic analysis. This will be done through a pestle analysis. We can decide each factor as either favorable, neutral, or not favorable. Starting with our political, this could be a favorable, as associations and clubs rely on government funding slightly more than partnership and sponsorships. Therefore, government funding is very critical, as in 2023, they have been part of $1.1 million within their revenue. And also, without government funding and partnership and sponsorships, if you compare the revenue and sponsorship, which they actually even out without government funding and sponsorships. Therefore, for senior clubs, it is important to receive as much government funding as possible to stabilize their financial sustainability. In case their registration fees decrease in a certain year, whether due to economic or different reasons, they have the government funding and partnership and sponsorships to even out and recover their financial sustainability. The governments actually could impose funding conditions, so this could be a non-favorable factor. In 2023, they imposed conditions on financial transparency, as some senior clubs did not meet the requirements to submit annual reports. In other case, the extra government fundings could be available on school joint programs, which NTSC is eligible to contribute. This is also necessary for extra funding. Economics, this could be favorable and not favorable. Economy has substantial impact on registration and participation. COVID-19 and economical landslide impacted participation and funding significantly. Greater economic status can trigger greater fundings. This is shown according to the Ontario Soccer metrics, from 900K to 1.1 million. It is a favorable factor that could reinforce. It also could be a non-favorable factor that could decrease program availability and participation. It increased from pre to post-pandemic by 300,000 people in Canada, according to the metrics by Mitchell in 2023. In Toronto Soccer's Association case, which NTSC is part of, number of players increased from 5,000 in 2022 to 13,000 in 2023. So therefore, the economics can be a favorable factor to the growth of the industry. Social aspect this is the favorable also factor. Soccer is, everyone knows, soccer is one of the largest, most popular sports, and huge social events like the World Cup can stimulate soccer participation significantly. And this could also stimulate participation on local sports clubs. Technology is neutral. This is mostly applicable in professional leagues such as MLS, and NTSC is not impacted by technological advancements or the advancements such as VAR, etc. Legal issues or cases are not common, therefore this is neutral. And even if there are legal issues, these are usually complaints and legal files from the parents or athletes, and this does not significantly influence the strategy of NTSC and Toronto Soccer Association. Environmental is also neutral. This would be a favorable or non-favorable factor if the NTSC did not have a supply of fields, which will be discussed in the microeconomic, but they have partnered with various schools and parks across Toronto, such as Central Tech, and they have the indoor domes, which is critical for program availability and maintain participation during the winter. Therefore, we can conclude that the political, economical, and social aspects are the most favorable factors, which should be considered when strategizing for financial stability. Move on with the microeconomic analysis. Now we need to discuss who our main consumer is. Number one, there are youth athletes from under 4 to 18, which makes up 95% of all players registered, and recreational players make up most of the ratio. There are adult athletes, but they're only selected, and they're high performance players. So this does not make up a lot of population consumer. Parents of the youth athletes from number one is also our main consumer for NTSC. Therefore, we need to find ways to target recreational population, especially number 1 and 3. We will utilize Porter's 5-factor analysis to target this. First, competitors. This is a moderate factor. Moderate bargaining power. There are 17 different youth soccer clubs, which is a large number within the same local area. Despite being this, NTSC is by far the biggest youth soccer club in Toronto, as it makes up around 1/3 of Toronto participants. Due to high quality coaching, various field location, renowned high performance development, and range of different levels, which are the differentiators among the competitors. Therefore, this is a moderate bargaining factor. Substitutes are high because basketball and swimming is the most popular sport in Canada. And therefore, during the fall-winter season, when the weathers are not as good with limited field availability due to indoor domes, prices are higher, and this could lead customers to choose other indoor sports instead. Threat of new entrants is low due to the large number of clubs already operating and sharing the population, and therefore the possibility of new threatening new entrants seems unlikely. The only way it could be to offer more competitive pricing compared to other clubs. NTSC and other clubs offer programs at around $300 to $600, but with the competitive pricing and recurring monthly payments that Etobicoke has introduced, with the combination of this, with the threat of new entrants could be threatening, but at this point, this is a low bargaining power. Supplies is moderate. In terms of fields, this is low because it is sufficiently provided. They have continuous school relationship, which remains critical for field availability. They collaborated with Central Tech, Northern Secondary School, and etc. Supply of coaches and referees has always been a challenge for any soccer clubs because they rely heavily on volunteers. Programs like Game Leader, they help to develop the abilities of both coaching and refereeing, and also as I said, for House League, they rely on volunteers. So therefore, engaged participation in promotion would be critical for constant supply of these coaches. High performance coaches are sufficiently provided. Bias and consumer power is moderate to low. This is due to several reasons. A commitment to 2 to 4 months is required. They cannot switch teams due to Ontario soccer regulations. It is common to commit to one team throughout, and there are no trial sessions and practices to join the team. They must register to play. Therefore, this will be beneficial for club revenue. However, participation satisfaction might not be as what the buyers and consumers will be a moderate to low bargaining power. This is due to several reasons. Their commitment to 2 to 4 months is required upon payment. They cannot switch teams mid-season due to Ontario soccer regulations, and it is common to commit to one team throughout and trial stage sessions and practices are not common, and they must register to play. This will be beneficial for club revenue. However, players can move clubs during the off-season freely, and this gives them a bargaining power to choose their clubs based on their satisfaction. Therefore, having a high participation satisfaction will be crucial for maintaining registration level. The first recommendation is to utilize social events and create collaborative opportunities for players, parents, and other potential participants. To maximize the already high interest of soccer, it is critical to open up opportunities for athletes and parents to enjoy being part of the organization and further stimulate participation. The best coming opportunity for the club is the 2026 North America World Cup. Collaborations such as BMO Field Ballboy or player escorts are good ways to leave memorable experience to the active NTSC players and further engage their participation with the club. The club could also collaborate with the World Cup host to sell Canada game tickets to existing NTSC members at a discounted price. Outside of these, watch parties and special events such as hosting active Toronto FC players to a practice session could empower current participants' willingness to engage and potentially volunteer for the club. The goal is to have as much volunteers as possible. At the moment, the club's focus is greatly leaned towards developmental and recreational programs, and sole focus on this cannot allow participants to fully engage and lead out a volunteer willingness. The second recommendation is to increase school collaboration programs. Recently in March, a new Canada Soccer Initiative, Soccer in Schools project, prepared $400,000 in funding for community clubs across Ontario, Saskatchewan that partner with at least 5 public schools. The goal is to present greater inclusion for elementary school children, including access to high-quality soccer participation in a safe, fun, and welcoming environment. As explained in the political aspect of in the macro analysis, government funding is vital for clubs to not solely rely on registration for revenue. In case the registration decreases due to economic and public health issues, clubs should be able to exercise emergency incomes to sustain their financial stability, and this comes from sponsorships and government fundings, which can help tremendously to not only stay prepared for financial sustainability, but to also better support existing league and developmental programs. Specifically, this could be a multi-week fund-based activities with coaches, and it should be prepared not to just receive fundings, but this could also build a trustable relationship with the schools. This is also hugely helpful for field availability, which could be used in the future. The last recommendation is to utilize technology and digital engagement. YouTube and Instagram is consumed by most people with smartphones, including athletes, existing and potential, and their parents. Since NTSC already has solid reputation in youth player development and recreational house leagues, with numerous certified coaches and constant supply of fields, the only step left is to make most of the assets they have and marketize it to potential customers in Toronto. With connections to Toronto FC and former players that graduated the League One semi-professional team, the NTSC marketing team should look to post Instagram videos and YouTube shorts to generate digital engagement with wider audience. Not only would it highlight the great assets they have, but it would also attract more attention to potential customers looking to participate their children themselves in soccer. Video tutorials, community stories, and team news can be marketized further for greater participation and financial success. And thank you. That is the final presentation. Thank you so much.